Hi guys! Happy Thursday! Today I wanted to try something a little different and follow a recipe that I have not yet tried before. Exciting! So we're going in blind here. I've got my tablet with the recipe on it. They're so perfect for kitchen use. This recipe comes from howsweeteats.com. My tablet is going crazy right now. What the heck? Cool. Today we're going to make almond butter roasted banana bread, which sounds pretty delicious if you ask me. The thing that I really like about this recipe is that you don't need to have ripe bananas to make it, even though I usually have about 10 black bananas in the freezer at any given time. Allergies. So, for this we are going to need 4 bananas. Leave them in their peel. 2 cups of all-purpose flour, half a cup of almond flour, healthy, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, 1 cup of sugar, unhealthy, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, 2 large eggs, 2/3 of a cup of plain Greek yogurt. It does not stipulate whether you need full fat or fat-free, so I went with the 0%, which I think is fat-free. Half a cup of olive oil, extra virgin for me, 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, and half a cup of almond butter. So first we have to preheat our oven to 350 degrees and then grab our bananas, place them on a lined baking sheet, so you can just use parchment paper, or if you have a silicone pad you can use that as well, like so. And then we're going to put these in the oven while it is heating and leave them there for about 20 minutes or until they're black. Ooh. So while the bananas are roasting, we are supposed to whisk the dry ingredients together. Let's do it. So I'm whisking my flour, my almond flour, my baking powder, and my baking soda together. I'm also going to link the recipe below so that you can keep it for yourself and not have to watch this ugly mug. All right, those are all whisked together nicely. Clean up this workspace a little bit. Forever spilling flour. Now we're going to grab another bowl and mix together the wet ingredients. So we're doing eggs first. Crack them, drop them. Sugar, considered wet, even though it's dry. Alright, so now we have the eggs, the sugar, the olive oil, the Greek yogurt, and the vanilla. And we're just mixing those together with a whisk again. It's kind of green, thanks to the olive oil. I also just realized we did not add the salt to the dry mix, so I'm just going to do that now. This is why I'm linking the recipe below, so you don't have to make the same mistakes that I'm making. Give that a quick whisk. Helpful tip, I like to keep 2 sets of measuring spoons, one for dry ingredients and one for wet ingredients. So we have our wet ingredients and we have our dry ingredients, and the bananas are still not ready yet. So before I mix them all together, I'm going to take the bananas out of the oven when they're ready, let them cool, and then peel them. So we'll check back in soon. So the banana roasting took a little bit longer than I thought it would. It was in for about another 10 minutes after we finished mixing our 2 bowls together. If you hear those footsteps, Dash is coming into the kitchen. Hey buddy, nothing for you. So yeah, it was in the oven for about 10 minutes longer, and then I had to take them out of the oven and let them cool on a plate while they were still peeled. So I did that for about 15 minutes. And then I peeled them and I mashed them, and then I let them cool a little bit more for about 5 minutes. So half an hour later, we are finally ready to put everything together. Because the wet ingredients have been sitting a little bit, I'm just gonna mix them up a little bit more. And interestingly enough, the recipe says to add the wet ingredients to the dry, which is sort of strange, I think. But we're gonna do it because we're following the recipe. Now we add the bananas. And finally, we're going to add our almond butter. And the recipe says to stir just until everything comes together. All right, here it is. So next we're going to take a 9 by 5 inch bread pan and spray it with some cooking spray. And then pour our batter into the pan. Now we will be baking this for 60 to 65 minutes. I'm going to keep an eye on it at about the 50-minute mark, just to make sure it's not over baking. Once again, we wait. Whew! It's finally ready! With my oven, it took about 50 minutes to bake, and then I had to let it cool completely before taking it out of the pan. So I just actually put it on the balcony because it's nice and shady out there today, and it cooled in about a half an hour. And it was really easy to take out of the pan, which is awesome because I always worry when I'm only using non-stick spray that I'm gonna have a mess and it's going to just fall apart when I'm trying to take it out. Here's what it looks like. So far I really like what I'm feeling. It has a nice crispy top to it. So hopefully the inside is nice and soft and it will be the perfect banana bread. Let's try it. It looks great. I mean, it looks like it's the perfect banana bread consistency, which is all you can really ask for. It's pretty good. Yeah. Would make again. I think if I made it again, I would add walnuts. Chop them up, maybe roast them a little bit at the same time you're roasting the bananas. So some final thoughts on this recipe. Overall, the finished product is fantastic. It's not too dense, it's not too cakey, it's the perfect banana bread consistency, which is sometimes more difficult to get than it seems. There are a few things that I would have changed had I done this before. The first being roasting the bananas. The recipe said to roast the bananas as the oven was preheating, which is a great idea. I would definitely do that. But I wouldn't start mixing together the other ingredients until after the bananas were fully roasted and they were being left to cool, because it took a lot longer than I anticipated for the bananas to be ready to add to the rest of the ingredients. So I would put the bananas into the preheated oven, leave them for the 15 to 20 minutes that it would take to turn them black, remove them from the oven, maybe wait about 10 minutes, and then start mixing everything else together. That way you don't have to take this really long pause to wait for your bananas to be ready to put everything together. The recipe also says that the total time to prepare and bake the loaf is about an hour and a half, but it took a lot longer than that. It took in total 2.5 hours. I started at around 1 o'clock, it is now 3:30, and I'm just able to eat it now. So total time from preheating the oven and roasting your bananas to actually eating the banana bread is about 2.5 hours. If you don't take the cooling time of the bread into consideration, then it's closer to 2 hours. I'm really impressed with this recipe. I will definitely try it again. I would love to include some walnuts, as I mentioned before, or even some chocolate chips, because chocolate chips make everything better. The one thing that I didn't really taste is almond butter, which is really strange, and I actually had totally forgotten that there was almond butter in it until just now when I looked at the recipe title again, and I was like, wait a minute, I just tasted that and there was a lot of banana flavor, but not a lot of almondy goodness. So maybe it's mixed in a little bit more. I mean, I just took a bum piece, which is like the worst part of the bread, so maybe as I eat more, I will add a little disclaimer in the description to say whether or not the almond butter can be tasted. Maybe I just don't have a good taste for almonds. So there you have it, a recipe I have never tried before, and it was a pretty good success, so thumbs up. Remember to check the link down below for the original recipe. If you liked this video, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up, and also feel free to share it with your friends. Don't forget to subscribe for new videos every Thursday. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a great day.